I've been working on this Rockhopper for a subscriber. Was just waiting on one last part to finish it up. Let's make a coffee before we start. Oh, well, hello. Let's start off today by talking about a couple things that came up in the community chats. First thing is rust. How did I treat the frame? Well, I usually use a combination of three things. I use PB Blaster to loosen up any bolts or things that need to come loose. I also use a rust inhibitor, often Rust Check or whatever I can find at Canadian Tire. And I also use Rust Converter. I'm on the fence about Rust Converter because really what it does is it turns the rust black. Sometimes I just treat the frame with the rust inhibitor and that's enough. Another person brought up this really cool rust heart that's on the frame. And I'm gonna leave it there because honestly, what are the chances? For grip and saddle choice, we put it out there in the community to see what people thought. Ultimately, what we decided was black grips because of the black saddle. If it was a brown leather saddle, like a Brooks saddle, brown grips would work really well. But since we needed to tie in, black saddle, black grips works really well. And the last thing is the color. What is that purple color? Now, if we were to go by surly naming conventions, it would probably be something like Cosmic Brews or Yesterday's Wine. What would you call it? I also want to fix one thing from the last video. This was on backwards the whole time. It happens. Now that that's fixed, we can finish up the build. So satisfying. The crankset we'd been waiting for finally came in, and I was actually quite impressed with it. These cranks are a good affordable option, and they come in two lengths, 170 and 175. It solves a couple real-world problems. Often when you reuse old cranksets, you have to find the right size chainring with a compatible BCD. Plus, you'll need single-speed hardware, and that can be kind of expensive. But the thing I like the most is that they give you a perfect chain line. I'll show you that in a bit. I debated a little bit over which way to go with the shifters. Usually my preference is a friction shifter. However, it didn't seem to work well with this build. So I actually went with a more modern style 7-speed shifter. It'll just be a little bit more subtle and tucked away. Chains are always fun to size. Usually I leave them a little bit long at first, and then I'll take out a link or two as I need it. I'd be really impressed if this was perfect right away. May need a tweak. One thing I always forget to do with used components is bring it back to 0 for the shifter and for the derailleur itself. And then I like to tighten this cable. Though I didn't show it, I zeroed both barrel adjusters. Let's try that again. Though I made that look easy, I actually did a few adjustments. There's the chain line with the essa crank. Looks good to me. Let's see if we can take this thing for a ride. Ugh. It's a bit too rainy today. Nope. The first test will be in the shop. I'll still take it outside later, but we need to keep moving. Now we can dial in the bike and do the finishing touches. These are the most wonderful grips. Don't worry, I straightened it all out. Oh, I almost forgot the finishing touch. Much better. The next day turned out to be beautiful. Perfect day for a test ride. Let's take it back to the shop. First impression, the bike feels super solid. Honestly, I think it rides better than a couple of my own builds. A little jealous. And I don't know if you can see this, but the Cosmic Brews paint job sparkles in the sunshine. Nice. Saving this old bike was a lot of fun, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Thanks to everybody in the community who reached out and left a comment. You guys really helped out with the build, and I really appreciate it. These builds aren't about restoration or perfection. They're just about bringing them back to a point where they can be ridden and enjoyed. And I think that's the point. Bye.